Next superstation at 690 days, 680 nights.
وسهلا بكل الذين ينضموا للاستماع إلى راديو بلدي أول راديو عربي أمريكي ويعنى بقضايا العرب في المهجر. برامجنا في راديو بلدي كل يوم جمعة من 8 وحتى 9 صباحا مع ليلى الحسيني في بث حي ومباشر عبر wnzk راديو 690 AM. صباح الخير بلدي، صباح الخير لكل مستمعينا.
Welcome to Radio Baladi, the first Arab, Middle Eastern, and American simulcast radio show. Radio Baladi is broadcast every Friday morning on wnzk 690 AM from 8 until 9 Eastern Time on Good Morning Michigan with Layla Al-Husseini. Our call-in number 248-557-3300. And now, stay tuned for the best radio talk show on Arab and American issues with your host, Layla Al-Husseini.
Today's show is brought to you by the Ziyad Brothers.
عندي سؤال يا جدي شاغلني ومحيرني، شو يلي بيخلي زياد عكل لسان يا قلبي؟
زياد شركة قصتها عيلة عريقة بترويها، منتجات أصلية جودتها بتشهد إلها، لو كبرت معنا كل بيوت تلاقيها، العيلة وجيراني وأهلي ما بدوروا إلا عليها، لأنه زياد يا جدي بتجيب المنتج بلدي بلدي، وبتخليني أتذكر أصالة وأعراق بلدي. أجود المنتجات الغذائية من عائلتنا إلى عائلتكم.
And good morning and welcome to the Arab Daily News Radio Show. I'm your host, Ray Hanania, and today is Friday, July 1st. Holy moly, it's moving quickly here. It's already in the summer and the weather's getting nice. I'm filling in for Dr. Jawad this week, and I'll be here next week too on Friday, same time at 8 o'clock doing my show, the Arab Daily News Radio Show. But I'm filling in today, so we're open for your comments. We've got a lot of topics. Normally I'm here every second Friday of the month, broadcasting live in Detroit on WNZK AM 690 and Washington, D.C. on AM 700 radio on the U.S. Arab Radio Network, Radio Baladi. You can call us at 248-557-3300, 248-557-3300, and tell us what you think about the top issues in the American Arab and Muslim American community. Our producer is Mike, and he'll put you through. Just give him your name and a topic, too, if you want to talk about something specific. You can get more information on the radio show by going online and visiting thearabdailynews.com, thearabdailynews.com. Remember, we want you to share your views, so call now, 248-557-3300. Of course, we're broadcasting live online. We got a lot of people in Chicago and Texas that listen to us, as well as a huge audience of people out there in Detroit, because I get a lot of email from everybody, especially, I got to tell you, the Chaldeans, very active community out there in Detroit. They love the show, and I love the Chaldeans. So we want you to call 248-557-3300. We're going to be talking about a couple things this morning. Hillary Clinton's efforts to undermine peace for the Palestinians and her denying the occupation. She doesn't think the word occupation is right, so she prevented Congressman Keith Ellison and Jim Zogby from the Arab American Institute, who were appointed by Bernie Sanders to the Democratic National Committee Platform Committee, which is defining the issues that the Democratic Party supposedly stands for as they go into the convention. They do this every 4 years. And they insisted, because Bernie Sanders insists, that, you know, the Arabs in the Middle East are important, which everybody here in this country knows. I mean, the Middle East, the Arab world, consumes 90% of everything we talk about in the news. The news is filled with us. But, of course, you know, Americans fundamentally hate us. So it's always filled with negative stuff, and the media is biased and controlled and corrupt. There's like a corporate corruption of the news media, and I know because I was in that corporate corruption for 20 years covering Chicago City Hall, frontline journalism, and I could see it every day. As long as I was the good little boy, who was writing the good little political stories, they loved me. I won all these big awards. As soon as I opened my mouth about being an Arab, they went berserk. They couldn't imagine it. They said, "You're Arab? We actually hired an Arab? How did that happen?" They were berserk, I'm telling you. And, of course, it wasn't all of them, and I exaggerate a little bit, but I don't exaggerate the intensity of the glaring and anger when they found out I was Arab. It came from certain people in influence at the newspaper, at the radio and TV stations, because I not only worked at a major newspaper covering probably one of the biggest beats in the United States as a Palestinian American who happened to be Christian, by the way. I also was a panelist and speaker, commentator, I should say, commentator on several of the big TV stations, WLS TV, ABC TV, CBS TV, NBC TV in Chicago, and also on PBS and all these other radio shows. They love me. As soon as I bring up the topic of the Middle East, they hated me because that's the way the media is. They're objective about everything, but they're biased about the Middle East. That's why this radio show is so important. In its little way, I'm going to carve my initials on the forehead of the American news media. How's that for an analogy of what I'm doing? So we're going to talk about the topic because I'm telling you, the news media did not cover that fight in the middle of the night when Hillary Clinton, who says she wants peace, stopped the Democrats from using the word occupation in describing what Israel is doing. And as long as the United States protects Israel, not just security-wise, but their political insanity and fanaticism, the longer we're not going to have peace. And she is standing in the way of peace in Palestine, and that connects to everything. We're also going to talk about, of course, how the Israelis refuse to recognize Palestinian rights. They want everybody to recognize them, but they don't want to recognize Palestinian rights. They want everything. And I'm telling you, it isn't just Palestine that they're going to take. They are eventually, once they destroy Palestine, and they're working toward it, they got to figure out a way to get rid of the Christians and the Muslims in Palestine in order to become the state they want to be. They're going to go after Jordan, then they're going to go after Lebanon, then they're going to go after Syria, and then they're going to go after Iraq. And they don't have to be physically next to Iraq. They destroyed Iraq. By the way, and that's a big topic that we want to talk about today. Does anyone out there not think that the war in Iraq opened up Pandora's box to allow for the expansion of Al-Qaeda and Daesh and ISIS and the ISIL and all these religious, radical, fanatic terrorism groups in the Middle East? It was Iraq. I'm telling you, there were a lot of people that were happy when we went in and took out Saddam Hussein, but we did it with such, it wasn't about freeing the Iraqi people. The Americans are not motivated. They don't care about the Iraqi people. They make you feel that way because obviously you're being brutalized by Saddam Hussein, a dictator tyrant. But they didn't care about that. What they cared about was the money and the oil. And they've squeezed that out. And now, if you look at Iraq today, in 2006, 35,000. Let me find the map here. Let me get that for you. They got a chart. Here it is. 35,000 civilians in 2006 were killed. In the 3 years before that, it was even more. These are civilians when we controlled the country. And it started to go down in 2007. It was 18,000 civilians, and in 2008 it was 6,000 civilians. In 2009 through 2012, we were talking about maybe 2,500 civilians killed every year. Then in 2013, it went up to 8,000. 2014, it went up to 17,000 civilians. Last year, it dipped a little bit when ISIS spread to other countries and focused on Syria to 8,000. But this year, they are predicting it could be as many as 10,000 civilians. These are civilians that are being killed in Iraq. They are dying. And honestly, nobody cares. We own Iraq. This country owns it. We took it over. We squeezed it for every penny it has. We told the people there that we were going to help them. And what did we really do? We took all the oil. We made Halliburton rich. We made Dick Cheney rich and wealthy beyond his wildest dreams, all at the expense of your blood and your life. That's what went down the drain, and nobody cares about it. And everybody thinks, well, I'm not Muslim, I'm Chaldean. Or they think, hey, I'm not Chaldean, I'm Muslim. And they figure out a way to divide us all. Oh, I'm Palestinian, I'm not Syrian. Oh, I'm Syrian, I'm not Iraqi. I'm Jordanian, I'm not Egyptian. I'm Egyptian, we're not Arab anymore. We're not Middle Eastern. We don't stand together. We're divided here the same way we are in the Middle East. They bought off all the countries. Egypt, all of them. They're controlled by the United States and by politics. It has nothing to do with you as a civilian. It has everything to do with profit and money. Let's bring on our first regular caller, Jerry, to say hi, because he always calls. He's a good guy. What do you think?
Ray. Good morning, Ray Hanania, and good to hear your voice.
You think I'm being too mean?
Was that right?
You think I'm being too mean about what they've done to Iraq?
Ray, when you start your show, when you say, I love the Chaldean and the Chaldean love you, and I'm one of the Chaldean who love you and admire you, and by the way, Ray Hanania,
I feel like I'm Chaldean.
You know, Ray,
I'm going to adopt
Ray, I'm going to add another name to you. I'm going to call you Ray Hanania, the American Palestinian Chaldean.
Could be.
Yes, Ray, and I'm very proud.
I am too. I love being. Listen.
Because you talk, Ray, on behalf of everybody. You talk on behalf of people from Dearborn Heights, Madison Heights, Warren, Sterling Heights. You talk on behalf of Chicago, Illinois, all over. This is what we need. The man who...
Jerry, we're losing the war, though. They're kicking us. We think we're winning. You know, the Arabs and the Chaldeans and the Muslims, they throw us breadcrumbs and they tell us it's cake. That's what we have. You know, we're sitting around a breadcrumb like a mouse, like mice. We're looking at it, and they throw it to us and they make us feel like this is what you get. You should be happy. And we sit there and we pretend like we're happy. We're getting beat up all over the world and in this country, and we don't even realize how bad we are being devastated today.
Ray. Ray Hanania, before I start talking to you, and by the way, Ray, the time you feel you want to kick me out of your show, please just give me a green light.
I'm not going to kick you off the show, but I do have a break in 2 minutes, so I'm going to give you 2 minutes, because, you know, you are a dedicated listener, and you deserve the extra.
Ray, can I say something to you?
Yes, sir.
Could I say the beautiful magic word, and you take a break, and I will wait to continue with you.
I need you to do it now. You got 2 minutes, Jerry, because I got a lot of calls. I got to bring them on. I only get an hour. I wish I had.
Happy 4th of July.
Yes, sir.
To this great nation, the United States of America, and to the great American people, which you and me and Mike, we are one of them.
Yep.
And God bless America. Yes, we have some issues with the administration, with the government, but not with the people. We are proud to be American from Middle East, and we give our life to protect the right and the safety of this country.
But do you know, Jerry, I agree with you, but do you know that they don't give their lives for us? That they don't look at us the same way? Most Americans, I'm not saying every American, most Americans look at us and want to spit on us. And they don't know the difference between a Chaldean.
You know
They
why,
don't know
Ray?
the difference between a
You know
Muslim.
why, Ray?
They don't know the
The
difference
media,
between an
the
Iraqi, a
media,
Syrian,
Ray,
a
the media
Palestinian. We're all the
brainwash.
same. They hate us. And
Yeah,
you.
the media, right? The media brainwash the American people. American people, beautiful people, great
Yes, they
people.
are. I
And you know, right? If
I
you
served in the military to defend them. I'm proud of that. I'm proud of what this country can be. I
right,
am
and
proud
they
of what we
believe
can
you
be,
when
but
you
we
say
have to become
something
the
to the
best.
American or ordinary person. He believe you. If you say this is right, he say right. This is wrong. This is wrong. They are great people. They humble. They work every week, 5 days. He take his check and he say TGI Friday, and the government doesn't want the American people to know nothing about politics. Matter of fact, you ask an average American person on the street, who is the vice president? He will say Danny Quayle.
Yeah,
not
no,
Joe
they don't
Biden.
know. But listen,
Wh-
Jerry, I
wh-
got
wh-
one question. I got to take a
Okay.
break. Do you think that we are paying enough attention to what's happening in Iraq? And do you know about all the killings of civilians that are taking place that the media here does not write about anymore?
Do you think the American, they know that, or we pay enough attention?
We don't know. The American people
No,
don't know,
no,
and
Ray.
I don't think they care after they
Ray,
destroyed
the
that
truth-
country.
The truth
Yes,
is not
truth.
clear what's going on. Like you mentioned earlier, 35,000 civilian. You're talking just about civilian in Iraq.
Right.
You know, Ray, allow me to call this a phrase word. Iraq, after the invasion of the United States, Iraq today become the Holocaust of the 21st century.
I think it is. When you add up the number of innocent civilians who are being massacred and murdered, I think Iraq has suffered more than any other country.
Ray,
I think you're right, Jerry.
Thanks to former President George Herman Walker Bush, thanks to his son George W. Bush, thanks to Bill Clinton. You know, Ray, when President Herman Walker Bush, the senior, when he visited Detroit, when the Gulf War started after the Iraqi President Saddam Hussein invaded Kuwait, I took my kids, and they were little. I took them 8 o'clock. They say the president will come through the city of Hamtramck, the suburb of Detroit.
Right.
I took Nadine, my daughter, and 3 sons, Shaheen, Paul, and Patrick. And I asked the Secret Service, please allow me to talk to the President limo. And they say, don't get too close to him. And when the President Bush Sr. came in and Barbara was sitting next to him, he lowered his window. And I say, Mr. President, First Lady, in the name of God and humanity, look at my 4 children. There is Iraqi children like this in Iraq. And this embargo must be lifted. Children, they don't have a bare aspirin. They don't have a milk formula. There is nothing for diabetic people on that. In the name of the children of Iraq, and I presented to you my 4 children. Barbara, she waved her face like yes, yes, yes. And the president, yes, yes, yes. And unfortunately, the embargo was on Iraq. The sanctions.
And they made it worse, Jerry. Jerry, I got to take a break. I want to thank you for adding the energy this morning to the show.
4th of July, and we're very proud to add Ray to the Chaldean community.
I am Chaldean, and I'm proud to be that Chaldean.
Thanks
Thank
to
you
Mike,
so much,
my
Jerry.
friend, the
I
producer,
appreciate
too.
the call. Thank you. This is Ray Hanania
God
here
bless.
at the Arab Daily News radio show, WNZK AM 690, and in Washington, D.C. on AM 700 and online. Just go to the ArabDailyNews.com to get information. If you're outside of Detroit or Washington, D.C., you can listen to this radio show online, and you can call us at 248-557-3300 to tell us what you think about the topics we're talking about. Hillary Clinton, Bernie Sanders, the DNC. We're going to talk about Syria, talk about a place where, they talk about the Syrian refugees, but what have we done for Syrian refugees? We've done nothing. We talk about how we want to do everything for them, this country. How many have they allowed into this country? They don't want any. This isn't about Donald Trump stopping it. This is about the country stopping it. They stopped Syrian refugees before Donald Trump entered his name as the Republican candidate for president. Believe me, but they want you to think, Hillary Clinton wants you to think it's about Donald Trump, but it's not. They're all the same. All the politicians, when it comes to Arabs, Chaldeans, and Muslims, they're all the same. This is the 4th of July weekend. We're going to take a break, and we're going to be right back right after these messages.
It's never too early to get your child on the right track. From their first words to first grade, Dreamy Children's Center in Troy works closely with parents to provide an experience that goes beyond early education. The highly qualified and experienced staff use a variety of programs that can help nurture important personality traits like responsibility, independence, problem solving, motivation, and respect. They also have educational programs ranging from preschooling for infants, toddlers, transitional toddlers, and pre-K to Montessori-approved programs and bilingual curriculums for young children. They're open from 6 a.m. to 6:30 p.m., can provide breakfast, lunch, and dinner with snacks in between, and can also arrange for after-school pickup. Dreamy Children's Center in Troy is located at 37373 DeQuinder, just above 16 Mile Road, and can be found on Facebook at Dreamy Children's Center. Ask about the free preschool program. Call today, 248-680-9170, 248-680-9170.
When you're looking for the best in optical care, Dr. Imad Nakash is your doctor to see. With years of experience and thousands of successful procedures performed, you can trust your eyes to Dr. Imad Nakash. See Dr. Imad Nakash and his professional staff for your eye care needs. There's 2 locations to serve you. In Hazel Park, call 248-336-3937. 248-336-3937. In Rochester Hills, call 248-299-3937. That's 248-299-3937.
Life for Relief and Development is a nonprofit charity that has been providing humanitarian aid and development to people and communities regardless of race, color, religion, or cultural background for over 22 years. When disaster occurs here or around the world, Life rushes to provide food, medical aid, and shelter to those in need. Life also has development projects that provide medical relief, water purification, educational programs, relief for orphans, and much more. Your help and support can greatly improve these efforts. All donations are tax deductible. For more information, please visit our website at lifeusa.org or call 248-424-7493. That's lifeusa.org, 248-424-7493.
And welcome back to the Arab Daily News Radio Show. I'm Ray Hanania, your host. This morning on July 1st, we're looking at the July 4th of July holiday here in the United States. And as a veteran, I'm very proud of all the people that have really fought to stand up for what this country is supposed to be and what we're supposed to stand for. Unfortunately, we don't all stand for that. We should, but they don't. Muslims, Arabs, Chaldeans, they all look at us like we're the same people. They hate everything about us. They like us. They yada yada us to our faces. But the truth is they don't like us, because just like everybody's saying, oh, we have to help the Syrian refugees. What have we done for the Syrian refugees? Seriously, we've done nothing for them. They're dying. Talk about civilians that have been thrown away and destroyed and massacred. What's happening in Syria is a disgrace. But it's like what's happening throughout the Middle East, because this country hates Arabs and they hate people from the Middle East. And I know Chaldeans are not Arab. They're Christians from the Middle East. Believe me, I know that. And I feel like I'm Chaldean sometimes, the way I'm abused and attacked by some of the extremist religious fanatics in our own community. But the truth is that Americans, they're not educated enough to know the difference between Chaldeans and Muslims, Chaldeans and Arabs. They think we're all the same. We all look the same. We sound the same. We come from the same region. They don't really care whether it's Iraq or Syria. Those are just words to them. You're dying because they don't care. But your taxpayer money, the money you work hard for every day as an American, you pay your taxes, goes right into their pockets, and they use that money to destroy your people. I wonder how it makes you feel. It doesn't make me feel good. That I served in the military, I was proud to do that, but that I was really serving an agenda where they were destroying our own people. A couple things this week. that bombing, the terrorists attacked 3 suicide bombers in Turkey. Now, you know what's interesting to me about the suicide bombing in Turkey, right? Let me just get some of the details here, because that Istanbul airport that took place this past week, remember how they killed the Charlie Hebdo people, those racist people that promoted hate? The terrorists attacked them and turned them into martyrs. That's what terrorists do. Bad people make other bad people look good. And Charlie Hebdo was bad. They're a racist, vicious publication. And yet they didn't deserve to die. Absolutely not. But they were made to look like they were good people. Everybody changed their Facebook profile pictures on Facebook. Remember? Oh, Charlie Hebdo. I am Charlie Hebdo. Remember all that? Yeah. And then when they attacked France at that cafe, remember that? How everybody changed their Facebook photos to reflect the colors of the French flag. Was it red, whatever? What is the French flag? Let's see here. French flag. I love France, by the way. I go there all the time. Red, white, and blue stripes. They changed their colors. Remember that? They did that. And then when the terrorist, that crazy person who they said was a terrorist, Omar Mateen, I think his name was, or whatever. Who cares about these people that blow themselves up? I don't care. They're maniacs. He killed all those people at the Pulse, which was a lesbian and gay nightclub in Orlando, Florida. Everybody changed their Facebook photos to the LGBT colors of the rainbow, because it symbolizes the gay and lesbian community, which I support, uses the rainbow colors to represent them. Everybody changed that. And then they attacked Turkey. And what did American people do? Nothing. Yeah, they attacked because in their mind, Turkey is Arab, Turkey is Chaldean, Turkey is Muslim, Turkey is Islamic. They don't care. They were beating up Turkey like crazy. And I didn't see anybody, did anybody see anybody on Facebook express real, there were some people, and I'm not saying, you can't, there's no scientific polling that we can turn to get all this data, because the census doesn't count us, because the Americans are racist, they hate us. They keep us out of the census, so we don't even know how many of us there really are. They don't want us to know. So how are we supposed to know? The pollsters don't check these things. But I can tell you, just anecdotally, I look at my Facebook page. I got 4,400 people on Facebook, just personal friends, and then I have another 30,000 on the Arab Daily News Facebook fan page. And I look there and I look at our friends, and I know they show support for the victims of the terrorism in Turkey. But when I look at the American friends that I have and their friends, they talk, but nobody changed their Facebook pages. They did for everybody else. That's because Turkey is not white European Christian. Sorry. And even the Chaldeans who are Christians, the mainstream Christians don't even look at you as Christians. They don't look at me as Christians. I had an American woman after September 11th, 2001, and I tell you this all the time. They came to me after I gave a speech and said to me, I can't believe you abandoned your Christian faith to become an Arab. And I looked at her like, oh my gosh, you're crazy. The most educated people in the world are the least educated about the world. We want your calls if you want to call in. I know I'm probably depressing you with this reality, but if you want to call in, our number is 248-557-3300, 248-557-3300. And the issue is, are we doing enough for the people in Syria? Are we doing enough for the people in Iraq? Why isn't there more attention to the violence against Iraqi civilians? They're being killed every day. 18,000 just in the past, 6 months, first 6 months of this year and last year. 18,000 civilians. That is a Holocaust. Jerry called it a Holocaust. He's right. It is a Holocaust. And nobody cares because our people are worthless to many people in this country. Chaldeans, Muslims. You know, we're right in the middle of Ramadan, and it's ending July 5th. And, of course, Eid Mubarak to all the Muslims who listen to the show. A lot of Muslims, too, listen to the show, and I appreciate it. A lot of people think I'm Muslim. There's some extremists who don't like me in the Arab and Muslim community, and I don't care because they're worthless. They can't fight their way out of a paper bag. You know, the Arab community is so ineffective, so dysfunctional, so weak. At some point, you just have to stop fighting. Like I've been fighting with Rahm Emanuel, the mayor of Chicago, for years. I was City Hall reporter. I covered every mayor in Chicago. Mayor Richard J. Daley, Michael A. Bolandic, Jane M. Byrne, Harold Washington, David Orr, Mayor Eugene Sawyer, and then Richard M. Daley. I covered them all, 7 mayors. And suddenly Rahm Emanuel wouldn't even talk to me. And I know, right? He happens to be the city's first Jewish mayor, and I'm a Palestinian-American journalist. He doesn't want to talk to me. I get it. I asked questions that he didn't want to answer, you know, and it got a little heated. But then he hosted an iftar in Chicago. It was, I think, the 6th one he's done for the Muslim community. There were a little more and more Arabs are showing up. And I told him I got a chance, and he knew who I was. I shook his hand. And I said, hey, I'm a critic of yours. And he goes, yeah, I know. And it was like, okay, do we want to just stay that way? Or don't you think that maybe we should find a way to work together? If you really love all the people in Chicago, you need to do something to help all the people, and that includes Arabs. And it takes a great mayor to reach out to people he thinks are his enemies, because Arab Americans in Chicagoland are not his enemies. We want the same things. We may not see eye to eye about the Middle East, but Mayor Rahm Emanuel has an obligation to reach out to us. And I thought, okay, just getting angry at him, what good does it do us just to get angry at him and call him names? And he said some pretty good words. I wrote a story about it. You can go to the Arab Daily News and read that story. He was pretty tough about wanting to be against hate rhetoric and hate speech. And I thought, okay, you know, we should not attack each other then. We should give each other an opportunity, and I'm going to give him an opportunity. I think that there was a protest against it. There were 275 Muslims in the iftar dinner at the City Cultural Center, and I think there were 7 protesters outside. I didn't even know they were out there. I didn't see them. They don't do it. No one in the Arab community does a good job of promoting what they do. You know, we have so many problems. It's like insurmountable. How do we dig ourselves out of this mess? A lot of Arabs and Muslims and even Chaldeans, we just deny who we are, and we just assimilate and pretend like, you know, we're not Arab. We get together and eat mensif and closed doors, you know, and stuff grape leaves and tabbouleh and hummus. But when we go out there, we're all Mexican, you know, we're all Italian, we're all Puerto Rican. You know, we're not Arab. But I told Mayor Rahm Emanuel that, you know, we need to change things. We need to do something better, and we need to find a way to work together. And he was very nice and very receptive to me. And I thought, okay, maybe there's something that might come out of it. We'll see. I hope there is. He is the mayor. It's his 2nd term. We're not going to change that. So that was interesting. But the terrorism in Turkey really bothered me, the reaction, the phoniness, the double standard that exists. I want to talk some more about that, and I want to hear what you have to say. But we're going to take our next break here. We're always a couple minutes running late here. But our number is 248-557-3300. I want you to call. I want you to share your thoughts, and especially about Iraq. Are we doing enough there? Are we doing enough in Syria? 248-557-3300. I'm Ray Hanania. We're going to be right back right after these messages.
A car accident can change your life in an instant. As a result of a car accident, you may become unemployed. As a result of a car accident, you may need a lot of medical treatment. People think that insurance companies are on their side. Why? Because they're giving them 1 or 2 benefits. Are they giving them all the benefits they deserve? How would one know unless you consult with an attorney? Call the law offices of Jumana Kiruz at 248-557-3645. 248-557-3645.
Are you going to start a restaurant or grocery store soon? Do you need floor plans and designs? Call Naji Abood at 734-744-9796. Do you want to buy kitchen and restaurant equipment at discount prices? Call Naji Abood now, 734-744-9796. New Concept Products and Design, the trademark of kitchen equipment. 5% discount on all purchases of $75,000 or more. New Concept Products and Design, new location, 31185 Schoolcraft in Livonia. Learn more at www.newconceptproducts.com. Call Naji Abood, 734-744-9796.
Ziyad brand. Quality products from our family to yours. Ziyad Brothers Importing offers the finest quality products, including brands like Sultan, Kraft, Nestle, Hook, Rico Picon, Donna, and many more. Ask your retailer to carry these fine products because you deserve the very best. For more information, visit our website at www.ziyad.com. That's www.ziyad.com. Ziyad, quality products from our family to yours.
And welcome back to the Arab Daily News Radio Show. I'm Ray Hanania, your host. It is Friday, July 1st, and I'm just sitting in for Dr. Jawad this Friday morning. He's normally here, and I'm sure he'll be back next month on the first Friday of every month. I'm on normally the second Friday of every month. I'll be back next Friday morning and taking more calls and talking to you about other issues. But I was asked to come and sit in. We're talking a little bit about everything, of course. It's an open topic because I love to talk with listeners. And let's go ahead and put Jerry back on. Let's say hi to him and see what he has to say. Go ahead, Jerry. You got a few more minutes. A couple more. Oh, not yet. Okay. Well, that's all right. 248-557-3300 is our number if you want to call in. What's happening in Iraq is horrible because they're not covering it properly. I mean, even the UN says that the number of civilians being killed are not, are not accurate. They're far more. The numbers, when you look at the reporting, it shows that, maybe 18,000 Iraqi civilians have been killed in the past 18 months. That's 1,000 a month. The UN says that's way low. ISIS is doing the killing, but what are we doing to help Iraq? We're the ones that created that problem in Iraq, and we're doing nothing. Honestly, we're doing nothing. We took all the oil. We took all the money. We left them with nothing. We threw them away. The Iraqi people have been thrown away and left to the muggers and the street gang members, the street gang called ISIS that's out there that's terrorizing every, civilian, not just, Christians, and not just different Christian groups, but Muslims. Let's take Jerry back and say hi for a few minutes. You got a couple minutes, Jerry.
Thank you, Mr.
That's
Ray.
all right, man. Thank you.
I already miss you. Mr. Ray, I just want to ask you.
We're extremely emotional, aren't we? We go from one extreme, from anger to love, just like
exactly. That. Mr. Ray, I want to thank Dr. Atif Abdul Jawad that he gave you a break to come to his show.
He's a good guy.
He gave himself a break. You know why he didn't come to you, Mr. Ray, today?
No,
I was listening to the BBC last night.
Pardon me?
He was on the BBC giving his political reports about what's going on in the Middle East and what happened in Istanbul and what happened in Florida. The two massacres in our home country here and overseas. So my best wishes to Dr. Atif Abdul Jawad. He is a nice person, and happy Eid al-Fitr for him, for all the brother Muslim and sister Eid Fitr Sa'id. Ray, my question to you is it too late for Senator Bernie Sanders to run as independent? Ray, to be honest with you, neither of them, Mr. Donald Trump as a Republican nominee and Ms. Hillary Clinton as a Democratic nominee for president, None of them interested me, to be honest with you.
Right.
Bernie Sanders, Senator, I voted for him in Michigan, and he won Michigan. Do you think he could run as an independent? I will hear your answer on the radio.
I want him to. I wrote about it on my Facebook.
I love the guy.
I wrote
and
about
I don't
it on my
care. He's
Facebook
a Jewish.
Yeah.
You know, he's a Jewish. I don't care. He's a nice person. He's fair. He loves Muslim. He loves Christian. He loves Jewish, Budi, Mandai, Sabi'i. He's a nice person. 74 years old, and he's a full of energy. You know, right? The history will make itself when in the 60s, first Catholic American president, in the 21st century, first African American president, and now if we have a first Jewish American president, and who knows, maybe tomorrow Palestinian president, later on Chaldean president. So right, I want to hear your answer. Could he run Senator Bernie Sanders as independent against Hillary, Democrat, Donald Trump as a Republican? Thank you, and God bless you, Mr. Ray Hanania, and thank you to your producer, Mr. Mike.
You're a good guy, Jerry. Thank you so much for the call. I wrote about that on my Facebook page. You should look me up on Facebook. Look up the Arab Daily News on Facebook, too, both of them. And I've got a lot of followers. And we talked about that, and it's so important what Jerry brings up. There's a chance Bernie Sanders could become the president. It would be the best thing that would happen to this country. I always thought maybe Donald Trump could do it. But you know what? He is a smart guy, Donald Trump. He just can't control himself. He gets too emotional. He says stupid things sometimes. The stupid things about, he doesn't know how to address the real issue involving Muslims. It's not about Muslims. It's about terrorists coming into this country. They're not really Muslims. These terrorists are not Muslims. We should stop the immigration of terrorists, not stop the immigration of Muslims. We should do a better job of sorting through the good and the bad. Same thing with Mexicans. He doesn't talk right. His rhetoric is just very extreme. I feel bad because there are a lot of programs that he has proposed that I like. But he ruins everything with this terrible rhetoric of his. You know, you don't want to stop Mexicans. You want to stop the terrorists from Mexico, like El Chapo, who was being coddled by Vicente Fox, the former president of Mexico, and who escaped from prison while Vicente Fox was the president. And they want to point fingers at Donald Trump because they know they're complicit in the drug dealers and the gangs that run and control Mexico. Any gang and drug dealer, they've killed Americans. This guy El Chapo, why do we have him in prison? He should be taken out. We have him now. We recaptured him. He is in our custody. They should put him to death. He should get the death penalty. Why are we even wasting our time talking about him? But Donald Trump doesn't understand that he needs to focus on those issues, not on religion or ethnicity or nationality. And that's been a big disappointment. But Bernie Sanders, he understands that far better than Hillary, who is the establishment insider. She's the insider. She's going to do the same thing that they've been doing for the last 30 years. Nothing has changed. And if you want nothing to change, you want the same old racism, the same old bigotry, the same old crappy economy, yeah, you can go ahead and vote for Hillary. I guess she's the nicer looking person. You know, she says the words you want to hear. Nobody cares about what they do. They don't like what Trump says. They like what Hillary says. They go, oh, I'm voting for her for president. But what's she going to do? Yeah, right. Nobody knows. She's not going to do anything. Let's be honest. Be same old, same old. Bernie Sanders, though, says the words and has the program. And they're pushing her. The media is beating up on him. They're pushing him to endorse Hillary. Every story is about, they're saying Bernie is embarrassing himself by not endorsing Hillary. I think it's just the opposite. I think the longer he refuses to endorse Hillary, the more I support him, because he could run as a third-party candidate. I would vote for him in an instant. It would, no hesitation. But if it's going to be between Hillary and Donald Trump, I got to be honest, that's going to be a tough one. I wish Donald would just get his rhetoric in, check and stop opening that stupidity that comes out of his mouth sometimes. because he could win. He could become the president if he just learned how to be a good leader and stop saying stupid stuff. And everybody knows that's exactly what the problem is in this election. We're going to take our last break. I'm Ray Hanania, and then we'll hopefully finish with some callers. And I really want you to call. I know it's the 4th of July weekend. I know it's the end of Ramadan. And I know it's a tough, Friday. Nobody was expecting me to be on today. It was a last-minute thing to fill in for Ataf Jawad, who Jerry pointed out was doing some great interviews all over and was very busy, couldn't make it, and I'm happy to sit in for him. I'll be back next Friday. But remember our number, 248-557-3300. 248-557-3300. You go to the ArabDailyNews.com. All the information is there. So you can call us. So we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll continue talking about the presidential election, how nobody cares about Iraq, how nobody cares about Syria, how there's a difference between the way people in America react to Orlando terrorism and Charlie Hebdo terrorism and terrorism in France and the recent terrorism in Turkey. A lot of empty words were expressed in solidarity with Turkey, but there's really no real, genuine solidarity. I'm Ray Hanania, and I'm going to be right back right after these messages.
On behalf of myself and Energy International Corporation, I wish the entire community, and wish you too, Ramadan Kareem wa Eid Mubarak. The Eid is coming soon. In these difficult days, we have to be hopeful, we have to be positive, and look forward to a very Eid Mubarak for all of us. This difficult day when we are accused of either supporting terrorism or terrorism, Muslim and Arab American community had to be strong and have to stand together to defend themselves. People who commit crimes, they are not Muslims, they are not Christians, they are not Jews, they are criminals. Because none of the religions promotes terrorism. And therefore, if you commit a crime, you're not a Muslim. Therefore, you cannot blame Islam for it. So I do highly appreciate that we stand together, that we work together, that we defend our community. We are, as Arab American, we have a great future in this country, and with education, we're going to get places. So congratulations for Ramadan, congratulations for Al-Eid, and best regards for the entire community. Thank you.
At Metro Detroit Endocrinology, we have specialized physicians using state-of-the-art medical devices for diabetes, thyroid disorders, and weight management. Call for an appointment at 313-914-5580 or come in and visit us at our new location at 5250 Auto Club Drive in Dearborn. Every member of our staff is determined to ensure the best of care for each and every patient. We offer many services including bone density testing, thyroid ultrasound biopsy, simulation testing, and diabetic pump training on site. Our physicians will diagnose and treat hormone imbalances and problems by helping to restore the normal balance of hormones in the body. We'll find the best solutions for your individual needs, and the schedule is never too busy to give you the personal care you deserve. For an appointment or for more information, please call us at 313-914-5580 or visit Metro Detroit Endocrinology at our new location at 5250 Auto Club Drive in Dearborn.
Happy Ramadan, Ramadan Mubarak from Farmington Hills.
Assalamualaikum. I want to wish you all a happy Ramadan, and I'm happy for fasting. I'm from Farmington Hills.
I'd like to wish everyone such a beautiful Ramadan, and I pray for a peaceful world. May each of us find peace and friendships in our hearts. Dig deep. It makes a difference in how a world will love one another. Thank you.
And of course, Eid Mubarak to all the Muslims out there. It is Ramadan that comes to an end, I think, July 5th. That will be Tuesday. The 4th of July is Monday, and it is a big American holiday, and Our Independence Day here in the United States, celebrated every 4th of July, and we're very proud of that. I'm proud to have served in the U.S. military during the Vietnam War, and happy that I was able to do my part for my country. And I know so many other people, especially Arabs, Chaldeans, Muslims. We all serve this country. We all served in the military. But sometimes we're treated like we don't matter. But you know what? As long as we have a voice to speak out, and that's what this radio show does, it gives us a voice to speak out and remind Americans that we're here too. We pay our taxes. We served in the military. We defend everybody, whether it's a Chaldean holiday, whether it's a Muslim holiday, whether it's a Christian Arab holiday, whatever it is, doesn't matter. We're all the same people, and they should respect us, and they should do more than what they are doing, and they are not doing enough, because all the TV shows hate us. They stereotype us. They make us look bad. All the movies hate us. They stereotype us, make us look bad. All the books from the book publishing industry, they hate us, they make us look bad. And all the news media that hates us and makes us look bad. And we don't do enough because we don't stand together as Arabs and Muslims and Chaldeans. We all are individuals and separate. And we think that there's a difference between us. But not to the Americans and not to the rest of the world. They look at us, we're all one and the same. Muslims, Chaldeans, Arabs, all in the same bucket, all kicked around in this country, and because we can never do anything. The one thing I learned covering City Hall in Chicago for almost 18 years as a political reporter there in Chicago City Hall for a bunch of newspapers, including the Chicago Sun-Times for 8 years, I learned from covering politics in Chicago, a great saying from the late Richard J. Daley, the mayor of the city of Chicago, who I met, and the Daleys, they really respected the Middle East people, Arab, Muslim, and Chaldean, and Christian. He told his precinct captains, you either hang together or you hang separately. And I'm going to tell us, the Arabs and the Muslims and the Chaldeans, either we hang together or we hang separately, because right now we are hanging separately, and they are killing us, and nobody cares. Nobody cares about Iraq. Nobody cares about Syria. No one in this country. And we do, of course. So, yeah, there are people that care. And I don't mean nobody cares, but I mean nobody in a societal sense. The American people, they don't care about Syria. They don't care about Iraq. The civilians that are dying, I don't know how anybody could turn their face to little kids, women and children being massacred because of what we did, what we started in that country. We abandoned Iraq. We hated Saddam Hussein. We didn't love the Iraqi people. Believe me, they didn't go into Iraq because they loved the Iraqi people or they wanted to save the Chaldeans. They went into Iraq because they loved oil, and Halliburton wanted to make money, and Dick Cheney owned Halliburton, and it was all about profit, and it was all about getting even because they hated Saddam Hussein, and he was a terrible person. But was he more terrible than what we have today? It's worse today. They were supposed to make it better. They were supposed to make Iraq safer. They were supposed to make it a democracy. It's not a democracy. It's a war zone. Who's the president of Iraq? When was the last election? What about all the corruption? What about all the greed, the violence, the lack of safety? Where's all the money going? We spent a fortune in that country. Where'd it go? Trace it all back to Dick Cheney and Halliburton, vice president. And we let it all happen just because September 11th was hanging over our heads. And they blamed us like it was our fault. I had nothing to do with September 11th. Did you? No, of course not. Muslims didn't have anything to do with September 11th. Some crazy people did. Some crazy people. Chaldeans, they had nothing to do with September 11th. So why do we have to keep paying the price for something that we had nothing to do with? And I think it's wrong. It's terrible. 248-557-3300 is our number if you want to call in. And I'm filling in for Dr. Atif Jawad. He was not able to make the show this morning. I'll be back next Friday, 8 o'clock Detroit time, Eastern Standard Time, filling in. I do my show every week, second Friday of every month, and I'm really happy to be on the air here on radio to talk to all of you. Got some great people out in Detroit. I was just talking to Osama Sublani last week, doing a lot of great things at the Arab News and journalism, and so many great people out in Detroit. Then I got to get up there sometime, and then I got to figure out, okay, maybe I got to organize a meeting where I can get everybody to come out and say hi, because I do get a lot of emails. A lot of people don't like to call and talk on radio. I wish you would, though, because it makes my job a lot easier. Although I can talk 100 miles a minute, I'll never be, short of words. I know what to say. I've been a writer all my life, and I know how to address all the issues, and I can debate anybody. Nobody can debate me and beat me. I can beat them because I'm the best on my feet. I know everything about the Middle East and principle of morality, and I know we're right. And many times Americans will come and attack me, and all I do is say, hey, by the way, did you put on an American uniform and serve this country? And of course not. They did not. And they look at me like, what does that have to do with anything? I said, well, I put on a uniform. I defended this country. I served in the U.S. military during the Vietnam War. What did you do? And it really shuts them up. And I'm just saying, that's the most pleasing moment in my life, when I shut those racists up that want to attack me, because they say I'm Muslim. I'm not Muslim. And I feel Chaldean. That's what I feel like. As a Christian from the Middle East, I really feel like, in today's world, we're being divided. Muslims are being separated from Christians, Christians being separated from the Muslims. They say we're all the same, but sometimes we're not treated the same. Christians especially Chaldeans, we're not treated the same. Where our problems are ignored, and nobody wants to talk about them. But that's why I'm going to stay in journalism, because I am going to talk about them, and I'm going to make sure that people hear them. And this will be podcast. This will be online, and there'll probably about 30,000 people will download it over the course of the next couple months, which is great. I just hope it has meaning. And if you're listening to this radio show or you're listening to this podcast, do something positive. Help the people in Syria. Help the people in Iraq. This is about humanity. This is about, if you're a good Christian, be a good Christian. Good Christian American. Put some meaning in that. Do some good. If you're a good Jewish person, put some meaning into that. If you're a good Muslim, put some meaning into that. Put some meaning into that by doing something good to help those civilians in Syria. We need to open the doors for refugees in this country. This country is all about refugees and immigration, and suddenly we don't want to let any of these people in because they don't like us, because we're Arab and Muslim. And again, you Chaldeans, they look at you. Most Americans don't realize Chaldeans are Christians. They just assume you're Arab Muslims like everybody else. And then they get us fighting among each other. They get us beating each other up. They get us attacking each other, not working together, and we need to do that. Anyway, listen, I want to say thank you for taking the time to listen to me. I know that it's going to be a nice, beautiful 4th of July weekend, and I hope you all have a great, safe 4th of July weekend, and I hope you'll join me next Friday at 8 a.m. I'll be back talking about these and other issues here on the U.S. Arab Radio Network, Radio Baladi, broadcast every morning. Remember, Layla Al-Hosseini is on Monday through Friday at 8 a.m. in Detroit Eastern Standard Time. You need to check her out and support her. And please, go to my website, thearabdailynews.com, thearabdailynews.com, and check me out on Facebook and friend me. Tell me you heard me on the radio, and I'd love to friend you on Facebook. You guys have a great week. Mike, thank you so much for running the board, and I will be back next Friday. I hope I get a chance to talk to you and hear what you have to say here at the Arab Daily News Radio Show. I'm Ray Hanania. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye, everybody. Have a great week and 4th of July.